Can you guess what these websites have in common?
Okay, let's go.
Starting with bounceinsight.com, you can see we have this really nice logo marquee animation, text animation. As I scroll down, this question mark gets bigger and smaller, really engaging. This really cool timeline effect right here. This specific one right here, laceandliberty.com, you can see it has this really nice slow marquee image effect right here that just goes in an endless rotation. And it also has really simple yet clean yet straight to the point layout that conveys what needs to be conveyed in this specific website. Lastly, we have this website right here, qagency.com.au. I am also from Australia, represent the meat pies and the BBBs. But we can see this has a really nice layout, and it also has some sort of scroll jacking effect and some scrolling marquee elements as we see right here. What do all these websites have in common? Well, you probably guessed that from the title of this video. They are all built using Relume.io. And in this video, I was actually reached out by Relume.io to actually make a video on this AI site builder. But you may be thinking to yourself, what even is Relume? Well, in case you guys have not heard, since you guys in the Webflow community, Relume actually was founded in Australia. Actually founded by 2 or 3 people, again, living in Sydney, Australia, which I'm also from Sydney, Australia. But we have Dan and we also have Adam. And they created initially an agency, just a Webflow agency. And I've been around in the Webflow community for a while now, and perhaps you guys also. But I remember this specific website was pretty mind-blowing at the time in 2021. And if I remember correctly, Relume also created a free clonable of their current website. So they used to just be an agency. So then they actually transitioned into a component library where this was pretty revolutionary at the time. At the end of the day, you know, Webflow is just a bunch of code. So they already made predestined code where you can copy and paste components in Webflow. And they also created a Figma library as well. You can literally hit copy and you can literally go inside Webflow and just paste in that component and literally everything's there. That way you don't have to build the exact same thing over and over again. For example, a navbar or a footer. So that was what Relume initially was, but recently they actually created a new functionality using AI. So they went from an agency, now they're a full AI site builder. And in this video, I just want to quickly showcase how to use this and why you might want to use this. And finally, ending the video, I'll give my honest opinions on what I think about Relume AI to date. So firstly, Relume is actually at the current given point in time, free to use. And they do have limited components if you're on the free plan, but you can have up to 1 project in your workspace account. So right now I'm actually using a trial account, but you can see if I go back into my dashboard, I actually have a bunch of different things I can do. Firstly, I have a Figma library, which I kind of alluded to earlier. We have a Webflow library, and we also have a React library. But because we're mostly a Webflow channel, I want to go ahead and show you the Webflow library right here. And like I said earlier, these are specific components you can copy and paste into Webflow. I've actually previously used Relume, believe it or not, in some of my past client works. For example, we have deck-heads.com. This specific website I post on LinkedIn, and the CTO of Webflow actually liked my post for some reason. I guess I was very lucky. But you can see, for example, this specific element right here with this marquee going up, this is actually a Relume component. Secondarily, if I go all the way down, this specific timeline was actually a Relume component. Kind of like what I showed you earlier. If we go back to the very start of the video, I showed you an example website, this one right here. This is using the exact same marquee effect. And as Webflow developers, we can easily go into the code and adjust and style exactly how we want. So that is something that's really cool about Relume. This project right here, I've actually used a couple of Relume components. Let's take a look at this one right here, where it says trust comes first. And as you scroll down, it transitions into this really cool effect right here. And then it goes into the next section, which has a sticky effect like so. And the great thing about Relume components are they're all automatically responsive. So I've definitely used Relume in the past, but one thing I really want to talk about is their site builder functionality. So the site builder is actually using AI. This feature was released, I believe, 2 years ago. So making sure we're on the site builder, we can actually hit new project right here. And then from here, it actually gives us an ability to produce a website in different steps. So it actually starts out with a sitemap, then we go into a wireframe, then we go into a style guide, and then we can also do a design step, which we can actually export into Figma. So again, depending on your budget and how much you charge clients and how much time you're willing to invest in websites, that determines what steps you should take. Another crazy thing is, this is really coincidental, like this really just happened. Believe it or not, this is really coincidental, but my most recent client literally is not even in the web design industry or web development industry, but they literally sent me a wireframe, which we're gonna go through, about their new website that they're looking for a developer to hire. So I was very lucky to get this client, but he literally sent me this link, and that's when I was kind of mind blown. And then so happened, Relume reached out for some collaboration. So this specific site map, you can see the client, I'm being very honest, the client really did all of this. GeoWorks, his name is Ian. I did not do this. This was not part of the video. I swear this is all coincidental. He made it already. He had a homepage, and then he went into the different site maps. So we can actually zoom out, and you can see that there's going to be a service page that he wanted, and then he wanted a couple of services inside that service page, and he wanted a 3-level tier nesting. So for example, in PCA service right here, he wants an additional 4 service in that service. So it's like sub services in a service. And then this one here, existing condition surveys, he also wanted another 4 sub services. So this specific website should be live at the time of recording this video. Check it out right here. But he essentially created everything using Relume. And you can see if I hit wireframe right here, this goes ahead and generates an idea of what the website should look like using those Relume components and AI. So let's quickly jump back into Relume and let's quickly use AI to build a very fast website. I'm thinking on top of my head, a website that is branded to my branding and something for a new service, perhaps copywriting. So I could just say, I would like a minimalistic website for my personal services on copywriting. And I'm very bad at spelling. You can already see I spelled minimalistic wrong, but because it's AI, it just doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the number of pages. In this case, I'll leave it to 2 to 5, but you can also add many, many more. And it also allows you to change the language, which is pretty interesting. But now I'm just gonna go ahead and hit generate sitemap. And what this will do is the AI will automatically read that prompt and suggest what specific pages and what specific sections that you want. So I think this is a fantastic tool to quickly generate ideas. And of course, you can go in and fine tune it. So we can fine tune it a couple of ways. Firstly, we can just re-prompt everything. Secondarily, we can actually just read it. So for example, it's suggesting a homepage with a nav bar, which is very typical, a hero section, again, which is very typical, then a featured section, then a how it works section, then a testimonial, then a CTA. For example, if I don't have any testimonials, I can just right click this specific section of that page and just hit delete right here. And for example, if I don't want the CTA just to be after the footer or before the footer, I can actually just reorder this. So maybe I want a CTA midway through my page, I can put it right here, just underneath the features list. Another cool thing I can do is I can actually click onto the specific page right here, home page, and I can just re-prompt that page specifically. So for example, I can say, please keep the home page max 4 sections. I just want it to be very simple. And I'll go ahead and hit generate page. It'll read that prompt. Obviously, the more you prompt, the more specific it gets. But now it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, minus the footer and the header. So this is looking okay. So intro section, featured section, testimonial section, and CTA. And if you actually click into one of them, let's say the header, this tells you introduction to your copywriting services with a compelling headline and a brief description. It's already suggesting what copy to put, which is really, really good. And in my honest opinion, in order to make a really good website, it really goes down to the layout, which is the design, but also the text that you write, the copywriting, as well as the images and videos added, which we'll get to. So it's really cool how it suggests text. And you can always send this to your client, be like, hey, why do we need this featured section? Because it highlights this, this, and this. You'll notice in this specific page, it also spat out an about section, a service section, a blog section, which is CMS, and then a blog in-depth section, which again is the CMS in-depth page. It also shows the services goes into an in-depth copywriting services. And this is all done through AI. Let's just say, for example, I don't want this in-depth copyright services. I can just hit delete. And if I don't want this blog, I can just delete this. And that's looking much better. So we just have a home, about, and services. We can actually add a new page by hitting plus, and we can go ahead and just rename this to, let's say, contact us. And we can just generate the content. We can just hit this button, and it literally just generates a content for contact us based on what we just wrote. Like, it's pretty crazy. So once that's done, right, you can play around with it, obviously. We can move on to the next step, which is the wireframe. And what this will do is this will use all the Relume component libraries, which I alluded to earlier in the video, and it will just go ahead and mock what each section could look like. Once that's done, you can see it's just used components from Relume and it's just placed the content in there. And mind you, this was all AI generated. I gave it very, very little text to prompt. Obviously, we can double click this and we can refine the text. For example, we might want to capitalize this, or in the hero section, we might want to say, you know, made in Australia, etc. So we can change it, and it's really good to change because, again, like I mentioned, once you finalize the amount of copy and the text, we can design around the final copy and text, ideally, that is. So once that's done, we can do a bunch of things in the wireframe. We can reshuffle the components to make it look different, or we can move on to my next step, which is my favorite, style guide. So right here is where we make the website very personalized and branded. And in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and pull in some of my brand components. So here on Sketch, you can see this is my logo, and I have a bunch of color palettes right here and a bunch of really nice custom photos that was taken a while ago. But let's quickly just pull that in. So I'm gonna copy this hexacode for my main color, which is this orange. So we can go ahead and click it into it and just replace it. And perhaps I wanna add another color, which is just black. And I just want to add another color, which is like this off orange right here. The great thing about Relume is that it automatically suggests color shades right here on the left-hand side. If we go back to my main color, which is this orange, it already shows accent colors that matches very well in that shade of that color. So once that's done, that's literally it. You'll notice immediately we can change stuff like dark theme and light theme. And this is based off the colors, which is pretty cool. And of course, we can add our logo by hitting this button right here, brand. We can go ahead and upload our logo, open our computer, and we can go ahead and just paste in logo right here. It will go ahead and just add it to the top left of the nav bar. As you can see right here, already looking pretty damn branded, all right? What else can we do? Obviously, we can switch out the images, but before we do that, we can change the typography. So we can go ahead and use shuffle right here, and that goes ahead and shuffles some font suggestions. I'm kind of liking this. This is like a typewriter feel. The body, we can go ahead and change that as well. And you'll notice we can even hit hotkeys, which is T for shuffle. And if we scroll down, we can change the UI styling as well. So right now it's generated the buttons in this semi-rounded format, which looks fine. But if we hit shuffle right here, you can see it's added a gradient button, hit shuffle again, it's added a different button, and so forth. So I'm kind of liking this one right here because it's clean, minimalistic. And we can also change the card and images right here, which just changes the design of that specific image and layout, as you can see in the thumbnail as well. So really, really cool stuff. And we can spend much more time fine-tuning everything. So for example, we can swap out the images to really show what it feels like. So to do that, we just put our mouse literally over the image. We hit this button right here, hit images. In this case, it's just automatically generated an image, but we can go ahead and replace it by hitting upload. And we'll go in and pull in a different image. Let's say, for example, this one. Wow, look at that. It's already branded. It's crazy, right? And we can change the text, obviously. Let's scroll down and change this image as well. Go ahead and hit this button, upload, and maybe I'll add this image here. You know, obviously images and videos make up like 50% of the website typically. You also notice in this section, we can actually change the color by hitting this white, or it's recommending this off orange color. We can also hit plus and add our color scheme shades based on what I just showed you earlier. So this is really cool. So maybe in this section, I'll just make it, let's say, a light gray, like this one here. And you'll notice if I change it to black, it automatically inverts the color of the font, saving you a lot of time, right? So this is pretty much my brand color, like this gray style. This is like a testimonial section. This part here is just the CTA, and this is the final footer image. So perhaps we'll change this image. Maybe this one right here. And I kind of used it already here, so we can go ahead and swap this one out to be something else. Maybe this one right here, me talking to the clients or something. So that's that. Once that's done, we can obviously fine tune everything much more. There's a special button called Pitch Concepts, which allows you to save this specific branding, this style guide. We can create more and we can show the client, hey, this is one style, this is another style, and this is a third style. Perhaps in the first style, you have it to be whatever you think is best. The second style, perhaps you can swap out the images because it makes a difference. And the third one could be a completely new concept. You can go ahead and pitch the client saying, hey, I strongly recommend, based on my expertise and experience, we go with concept one because XYZ. Otherwise, what do you think about the rest? And then they can come in with their own thoughts. So this is something really, really cool. You can even copy the link and then paste it and show your clients. So I just want to show you a concept made by Relume themselves. If we hit full preview, this actually shows you what they've done themselves. This is actually done by Relume. and it's just using what we just did, the techniques, but you can see with the actual custom images that they added, and obviously they changed the text to make it more, applicable. It actually looks very, very good and branded and personalized already. So obviously by now, let's not play around. This is probably not considered a proper website. Obviously it depends on the client. If they have like really low budget and they just want a website, you can probably get away with this. But let's be honest, we're Webflow experts. At the end of the day, what Relume, I think it does is it allows you to generate ideas really, really fast and for you to mock up stuff to show your clients. Obviously, we can move on to the last step, which is design. And in this specific step, we can go in and we can fine tune the copy. We can fine tune the different layouts of the specific heading section. So let's say we can change it to this layout right here, 2-column grid, and we can do much, much more in regards to changing the design. But where Relume especially shines after you have branded everything is we can actually export this right here to either Webflow or Figma. So currently on the free version, you can export it to Figma. In order to do that, we just hit Figma, we'll hit export, and we'll go ahead and hit get Figma kit right here. This will make you download the Figma kit to Figma. So you can go ahead and hit open in Figma, choose your workspace. And once that's done, we can go back into Relume and we can go ahead and do the second step, which is Relume Figma plugin. So this is running the plugin in Figma. This is how it's all done currently. We hit open in, we can pull in our latest site, and you'll notice this will run the plugin, Relume, and then this will then prompt you to log in. And once you log in, you can actually select that site that we just created, this one right here, and then you can actually select what you want to import. The design, the style guide, the wireframe, the sitemap. In this case, I will just import the design, and I'll just import the homepage, and I'll go ahead and hit continue. I'll click start import, and this will tell you if you'll be using Figma sites or not, but I'm gonna hit no, I'm not, hit start import, and then after a while, it will go ahead and spit out the design. So while we wait for that, I wanna show you that you can also export it in Webflow if you're on a paid plan. We hit export, and then how this works is this is telling you to clone the Relume style guide and also install the Relume Webflow, which is super easy. Let me quickly show you. We hit this button right here, clone style guide. This will take you to a clonable. You go ahead and hit clone in Webflow, and you go ahead and clone this to your workspace. So we'll go ahead and hit create site, and we'll go ahead and rename this to Derek's edit site mode. And we'll go ahead and hit create site. And once that's done, that's gonna load up Webflow with this official starter project. But where we need to go is this app store right here, E for apps. And we can go ahead and type in Relume, and it's right here, Relume site builder import. We'll click into that, and we can go ahead and hit install on site, and this will then tell you to log in. I've already logged in. But once you log in, you can see that's your specific project that we just created. We click into that, and we can go ahead, just like Figma, choose what we want to import. In this case, I'll just import the design, and I just want to import just the homepage, just to show you the concept. We'll hit continue, and we'll go ahead and hit start import. Okay, and that's it. It's literally saying you saved up to 5 hours, because let's be realistic, we didn't really put that much work into everything. We just prompted with AI, we adjusted the sitemap roughly, we put a style guide, and then we exported it into Webflow. Hopefully you guys can see how fast it is to create a website. Obviously, I didn't spend enough time to go in and do the nitty-gritty detail, which you should be able to do. And just to reiterate, Relume is fantastic to collaborate with the specific AI builder. It's not necessarily a replacement of just building a site and sending it to a client, unless there's certain situations like the budget demands for it. But you still need to go in and fine tune it to what you want. That's how it generally makes it look really good. And that's typically how AI currently works, where you have to spend the time in prompting it correctly and fine tuning it to spit out something that's decent. Regardless, if we hit done, you'll notice that it's actually imported my entire homepage, all responsive, all using client first Fin Suite, which is one of the industry standard ways of coding a website. And you'll notice it's all done. Like, we're talking about tablet, we're talking about mobile, we're talking about even the buttons, like the nav buttons right here, they all work. It's all done, which is fantastic. So obviously you definitely want to fine tune this, change the text, change the image, and ideally you could also fix this up in Figma. Okay, and back to the Figma. After a bit of waiting, you can see it says import complete, 5 hours saved. So again, the great thing about Relume is this can save you potentially a lot of time during your workflow process. Once we hit done, it's actually pasted this specific homepage, which we've actually exported, And this is where you'll go in and you'll go ahead and fine tune the design. I think where Relume really excels is where you can actually go in and you can see every single section which you've meticulously made through the wireframe and actually design something that is applicable for that specific section. So for example, if you have a really high budget client and they paid for design services, I would recommend you go in and you fine tune that specific design and all your elements are already there. Like you already have the image that you know you want, you already have the text you know that's finalized, and you can already see the potential because the client's already approved the specific design. So that is something really, really cool. Obviously, I didn't put that much time into this, but you can see that it also gives you a mobile version on the right-hand side as well. So this definitely speeds up your workflow and time. So what do I think of Relume.io overall? I think it's a fantastic tool that they keep innovating. I think AI is without a doubt going to be part of everyone's workflow, and this is probably the industry leading in terms of Webflow and website design. So definitely give Relume a go. Please understand again, it's not like the Relume AI platform just spits out a website and it's ready to go. You would most likely have to go in and collaborate with it and actually feed it information. And then I would suggest to fine tune it. So overall, I honestly think it's a fantastic way for the initial stage of building out a completed website, where it actually helps you with ID generation and helps you out with wireframes and mockups, which you can easily go to the client and get approval for. And then you can go ahead and fine tune it even more in Figma or through the design builder. So definitely give Relume a try. I'll leave a link below. They even have a free paid trial, so there's no harm in trying them out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.